U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha Vance have arrived in Israel. This comes as U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and advisor Jared Kushner met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli hostages in Tel Aviv. The Red Cross says that it facilitated the transfer of 15 Palestinian bodies from Israel to Gaza as part of a U.S. brokered ceasefire deal. This now takes the total hand over Palestinian bodies to 165. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov held a phone call with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio to discuss the Trump-Putin meeting. This comes as Russian diplomat Sergei Ryabkov says that preparations for the summit continue. Sanae Takachi has become Japan's first female prime minister. She leads a minority government backed by the Nippon Ishin Party and faces the challenge of unifying her party while stabilizing the economy. The 151st Inter-Parliamentary Union is underway in Geneva, where legislators from a total of 183 member parliaments are convening to deliberate upon pressing matters like food security and migration. U.S. President Donald Trump warned China that it could face tariffs as high as 155% unless Chinese President Xi Jinping agrees to a fair trade deal with Washington from his perspective. U.S. President Donald Trump and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese have signed a $8.5 billion rare earth minerals deal and confirmed plans for nuclear-powered submarines under the AUKUS Pact. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy begins a 5-year prison term today at La Santé prison in Paris for conspiring to raise campaign funds from late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, making him the first French leader jailed since World War II. All right, well, the 151st Inter-Parliamentary Union is underway in Geneva, Switzerland. All IPU statutory bodies, including the Governing Council, standing committees and committees on the human rights of parliamentarians and on Middle East questions, as well as the Forum of Women Parliamentarians and the Forum of Young MPs are meeting on this particular occasion. Legislators from a total of 183 member parliaments are convening to deliberate upon pressing matters. Parliamentarians from populous nations like China, India, Indonesia, France, to the tiny states of Cabo Verde, San Marino and Palau are present in Geneva at this moment. The Indian delegation is being represented by Aparajita Sarangi, Anurag Thakur, Sanjay Jaiswal, Kamaljeet Sehrawat, Sasmit Patra, Sameer Singh Solanki and Samik Bhattacharya. Pia Man, my colleague, is joining us at this point in time. She is in Geneva. Pia, appreciate you speaking with us. Well, it's a very important congregation. The spirit of all these countries coming together is for a noble cause. I also heard what Aparajita Sarangi had to say about India, about Kashmir, and also that admonishment against Pakistan. What is the feeling that you are getting? What is palpable over there in terms of this congregation coming together and these various countries bringing in the softer power aspects from their own lands, respectively?
Absolutely, Vinny. The mood is quite interesting on the ground. Riveting conversations have been taking place since the 19th when the 151st Inter-Parliamentary Union commenced in Geneva itself. We are seeing parliamentarians from over 183 nations gather over here to deliberate upon the most pressing matters that are plaguing humanity at the moment. There are also 15 associate members as well. But when it comes to the discussions, I've been speaking to a couple of parliamentarians. What they've had to say that has really struck a chord is that the exchange of information, the exchange of ideas on how to solve problems problems that are specific not just to certain countries, but to people across borders as well. How they can incorporate best practices from each other, that's something that's been truly insightful.
Pia, let's also talk about what is going to be the focus that a country like India would put forth. We are also looking at migration trends, being talked about in North America as well as Europe. What is a country like India going to focus on?
Absolutely, Vineet. India is very clear about its priorities. One crucial theme over here is AI, for example. We've constantly seen the Prime Minister highlight how India should take the lead. We'll be hosting the AI Summit next year as well, sometime in February. And to use AI for global good, that's not all. Sustainable development is on the agenda as well. How to learn from other countries and how to showcase what India does in that specific domain as well. The International Solar Alliance, for example, is something that India came about a couple of years back as well. We're seeing membership regarding that expand. So parliamentarians are over here discussing that. These are two key themes that India is taking a lead in. Another crucial aspect is food security, because at this moment we're seeing certain countries adopt a rather protectionist stance when it comes to their economies, which is impacting global supply chains as well. So seeing parliamentarians deliberate upon that particular aspect is also taking place over here.
PS, stay with us. In fact, the general debate will largely focus on the overall theme of upholding humanitarian norms and supporting humanitarian action in the times of crisis, and provide a platform for delegates to deliberate, enhance views and galvanize parliamentary action in this area as well. Well, we are also learning that the Assembly will adopt resolutions on the emergency item and on the subject item taken up by the Standing Committee on Democracy and Human Rights, entitled Recognizing and Supporting the Victims of Illegal International Adoption and Taking Measures to Prevent This Practice as well. Pia, my colleague, still with us. She is in Geneva at this point in time. And Pia, Geneva is obviously a birthplace of a number of such organizations, including the United Nations to a large extent, as well as the International League, which came about in or after the First World War. Like you said, the focus is going to be on AI. What other topics do you think that some of these smaller countries will largely focus on? India is a big country. There are other big nations who are also participating in it. But what about the smaller nations? What kind of challenges are they eager to calibrate and showcase the world, which larger countries can help them with?
Absolutely. This is something you also mentioned, Vineet. Supporting humanitarian action in times of crisis. This is, of course, the theme of the general debate, something that these smaller countries are also looking at contributing towards, because we do know that there are over 120 ongoing conflicts. There are over 310 million people who are in need of humanitarian aid. And this is information that has been documented by the International Committee of the Red Cross as well as the UN. OCHA. So all of these countries are coming here to deliberate upon this. Another crucial matter is one resolution that is going to be adopted with regards to supporting victims of illegal international adoption. Child trafficking is a major problem that exists across the world beyond borders, whether it's a large country, a small country. So this is another one of the very crucial issues. But the main concern that these smaller nations really have, Vineet, and I've been speaking to the legislators over here, is that resolutions are adopted, but to ensure that concrete action is taken after these resolutions are enforced is what is their primary concern at this moment.
Yes, stay with us. In fact, other objects under discussion will include food security, migration and transitional crime, managing AI, fostering religious literacy, parliamentary oversight of defense spending, methane reduction and preventing corporate tax evasion are also some of the big breaking items that will be under the prism. Well, the assembly will feature the announcement of the winner of the 2025 Kremer Passy Prize, honouring a parliamentarian who has shown exceptional leadership in gender equality. The IPU's theme of the year as well. Pia, my colleague, still with us. And Pia, you know, the IPU, like a number of its sister forums, is yet to gain, you know, the kind of household popularity that some of its other cousins and sisters have. And this is a great way, first of all, of us covering it and us talking about it and bringing out a lot of these issues, including carbon emissions and pollution and whatnot, to the fore.
Absolutely. It is something that not many people know about. The fact that there are over 183 member nations in the IPU, 44,000 members of parliament cumulatively. About 26% of this cohort are women, 27% are youth parliamentarians as well. So these are some interesting statistics that are put out. As I mentioned, artificial intelligence, sustainable development, these are some of the very crucial aspects, because these are not just problems that we're facing today. These are also problems that are likely to plague the future generations as well. How is AI really used? Will it be used as a force of good? Or, you know, are we seeing things such as deep fakes that could then become even more common down the line? There was another interesting theme that was discussed over here as far as AI is concerned, that coupled with nuclear proliferation. What if AI gets access to nuclear codes? So how would then a scenario like that spell doomsday? So all of these are issues that have come up in discussions over here. Of course, migration is something. Bhutan, in fact, raised their concern regarding brain drain. This is a problem that we face in India as well. So all of these are crucial issues that are being brought about. Methane reduction, of course. And another aspect, as you've mentioned, is the budgetary allocation is something that these parliamentarians discuss amongst themselves.
All right, Priya, appreciate you joining us. Thank you for that insight. All right, moving on. Well, Russia has said there is no precise time frame for a potential summit between President Putin and US President Donald Trump on Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov clarified that no specific date was ever set for the meeting. This statement follows a similar comment from Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, who emphasized that it's impossible to postpone a meeting that was never scheduled. The US and Russia have been working on preparations, but expectations remain divergent on how to end the war in Ukraine. The Kremlin insists that careful preparation is necessary before any meeting can happen. And meanwhile, the French President Emmanuel Macron said that any negotiations regarding Ukraine's territory must be handled only by President Zelensky. Macron also stressed that no other leaders have the right to decide on Ukraine's future. He made the remarks in response to questions about the planned summit between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. All right, Sanai Takaichi has made history as Japan's first female prime minister. She has won the role after a tense political period, securing 237 votes in the lower house. Her election has sparked mixed reactions globally. Some see it as a positive change for Japan, while others express concern over her conservative policies, particularly on gender equality and Japan's historical issues. Internationally, world leaders reacted to Takaichi's as Japan's first female prime minister. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung expressed hope to strengthening Japan-South Korea cooperation and looked forward to meeting Takaichi at the APEC summit. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun called on Takaichi to respect Japan's political commitments, particularly on history and Taiwan, to promote a strategic relationship with China. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te praised Takaichi as an unwavering friend of Taiwan, looking forward to deepening cooperation to ensure Indo-Pacific security and prosperity. Back home, the Japanese public's reaction has been mixed. As Japan faces high inflation and an aging population, Takaichi's leadership will likely shape the country's future, domestic and foreign policies as well. Well, Dr. Tomihoko Taniguchi, former advisor to late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, is joining us from Tokyo, Japan. Sir, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking to us. Sir, many consider this has to be a new chapter, a new hope for Japan and its politics. What would you like to, in fact, share at this point in time? Because obviously, this is perhaps the first time that a woman is going to be in charge of Japan.
Female, male, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that the new government has to deliver short-term tasks and long-term. There are many such issues. Short-term, something has to be done to counterbalance the inflation and the hike in many prices. And long-term, Japan needs to build its national strength, ranging from economy to military. And in order for these to be done, the most important crucial task for the new government is to stay in power. How could you stay in power? Only by winning election one after another. So it's a mounting task. You have perhaps detected that Sanaya Takaichi has looked solemn. She has not rejoiced at her own victory. So the nation, obviously, as you pointed out, should be mixed because they all know that the tasks ahead of Takaichi are really a tall order.
Right. Sir, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. Thank you. Well, in keeping with the decision announced during the recent visit of the Afghan foreign minister to India, the government is restoring the status of the technical mission of India in Kabul to that of Embassy of India in Afghanistan with immediate effect. This comes days after Taliban foreign minister of Afghanistan, Amir Muttaqi, visited India for a week-long tour. And according to the Indian ministry, the move is part of a growing diplomatic tie between India and Afghanistan. All right, well, that's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world. Thank you.